Rugby Championship, round number 3, Bledisloe number 1, Wallabies hosting the All Blacks in Perth. It's the last round of the Rugby Championship. It's not often we say that after 3 rounds, but it is a World Cup year, so that is the way it is. Neither of these teams in first place. They are both still trailing the Springboks, but both still have a chance to win the competition, although both of them need other results to go their way. I will go over the lineups. I'll put those in the description so you guys can have a look at the full 23-man squads. But in terms of recent history, last 5 games, it's 4-1 to New Zealand. The last time the Aussies beat the All Blacks was in 2017. Average score across those 5 games is All Blacks 34, Wallabies 19. So it has been a pretty comfortable gap between the All Blacks and the Wallabies. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes, because this one is being played in Perth. I believe it's the first time that the All Blacks have played the Wallabies in Perth, so hopefully the Wallabies get a good crowd out there. I know there's quite a few expat Kiwis out that way as well, so hopefully we get a good crowd and a nice close game. In terms of the teams, start with the Wallabies, who are in third on 4 points in the Rugby Championship with a 1 win and the 1 loss. They've made a few changes, so Nick White comes in at number 9. He swaps with Genia, who moves to the bench. James O'Connor is probably the big talking point in that he is in the squad at number 13 for Tavita Kurandrani. Kurandrani is dropped out of the 23-man squad entirely. I was kind of happy when Cheika initially picked Kerevi and Kurandrani, because I thought that's a kind of blockbuster midfield, but it hasn't really clicked thus far. I'm not sure if they've put O'Connor there in for a bit of added playmaking, or perhaps he's got a bit of a better boot than those two guys for a bit of tactical options, but we will see how they use him. He is an interesting selection. The guy can play virtually anywhere in the back line, so I guess we'll see how he goes at 13. They've also brought in Allan Alaalatoa, tight head, and Tolu Latu is in at hooker, so Folau Fainga'a drops to the bench. James Slipper and Taniela Tupou are the reserve front rowers, and Scotty Seo keeps his spot, so there's no Kepu in the team this week. Otherwise, the team is pretty stable. I mean, Tom Banks is back in on the bench, but, it's still Beale at fullback, still Hodge and Koroibete on the wings. I'm still not convinced by Hodge on the wing. But, yeah, I guess we'll see how he goes. Rodda and Arnold are the preferred locking duo. Salakaia-Loto, Hooper, who's captain, and Naisarani, the back row. The back row does look pretty balanced, so I think the big name we're missing there is probably David Pocock. There was a lot of talk that he might be available for this game. Hasn't panned out, so we'll see. We'll see how this back row. I mean, it's a stable back row from the last game, so we'll see how they perform against the All Blacks. The All Blacks have made their own changes. They are sticking with the 10-15 combo of Mo'unga and Barrett, so you can't help but wonder if this is what we will see at the World Cup, because they do seem to want to get that dual playmaking thing going on, especially against those teams who play that rush defense. So more options in the back line. Aaron Smith comes in for TJ Perenara. That'll be an interesting shift, but also I guess it gives Mo'unga time with both Smith and Perenara to kind of get a feeling for how they play. ALB and Goodhue are the midfield, so Anton Lienert-Brown is in for Sonny Bill, who is not in the squad. They've kind of sent him to play some Mitre 10 Cup for a couple of weeks. I think he played in a preseason game last week, and he's due to play this week in the Mitre 10 Cup to try and get his fitness up to scratch. A bit of conditioning work. Ben Smith, Rico Ioane are the wingers. Other names in the forward pack, Scott Barrett is a pretty good guy to have back, replacing the injured Brodie Retallick. Sam Whitelock is still there partnering him, so that's a pretty good locking duo. Front row is same with the props and Frank Samudi, but they've brought in Coles, who's going to start, so Taylor moves to the bench. Interesting in the back row that they've got what a lot of people have kind of been calling for, but I think previously the All Blacks have said they wouldn't do this. But they've got Savia, Kane, and Reed all playing at the same time. So Kane at 7, I think he was kind of picked with a mind on David Pocock playing, but either way, he's a great player to have. Savia is on the blind side, and Kieran Reid is at number 8. I've got a phone call. I'm not going to answer that right now. What else have we got in this All Blacks team? Atumoli comes in on the bench. Likewise, Angus Ta'avao retains his spot. Patrick Tuipulotu is there. Matt Todd's also on the bench. TJ Perenara, Nani Laumape. We'll see what kind of impact he can bring. And George Bridge retains that spot as kind of outside back cover. So it is still a pretty strong looking All Black team despite all the changes. It is going to be fascinating to see how Savia, Kane and Retallick all go at the same time. Because Savia and Kane had some of the best like fetching numbers or pilfering numbers in Super Rugby. So the fact that we're kind of playing the double fetches, when I say we, All Blacks, playing the double fetches, despite the fact that I'm wearing a Wallabies jersey, will be an interesting one, whereas Wallabies have kind of got a traditional specific number 8, specific number 6, and a specific number 7. So, yeah, it will be interesting. In terms of what the bookies have got to say, they are predicting, or at least the punters' odds have shifted the All Blacks out to 12 points, so a 12-point win for the All Blacks. Rugby Forecast, which I've just come to know about recently, their algorithm has got the All Blacks, but not quite by as much as the bookies. They're saying All Blacks by 9. In terms of the competition overall, there's still a potential for the All Blacks to win Australia as well. The All Blacks need to win and get a bonus point preferably, and then hope that the Springboks don't get a bonus point, and then I think it comes down to points difference, because basically if the Springboks win with a bonus point, nobody can touch them. If it goes down to All Blacks get a bonus point and the Springboks lose, then the All Blacks will actually, if the All Blacks win and the Springboks lose, the All Blacks will take it. If they get a bonus point and the Springboks don't, then it'll come down to points difference, because they'll have had the same number of wins and their head-to-head is a draw, so there's no advantage gained there. For the Wallabies, it's a bit of a harder ask. They need to win, I think, with a bonus point, and South Africa to lose, or win potentially with no bonus point, and then South Africa to lose with no losing bonus point. So it all gets a bit complicated. Basically, it is South Africa's to lose at the moment. The All Blacks can still put some pressure on if they get a big win. I think the Boks are ahead on points difference, so it is really ball in their court. The All Blacks would need a pretty big win to have a shot, and then the Boks, we'll see what they can do in their game. So, yeah, it should be a pretty interesting one. You guys let me know your thoughts on the lineups. How do you think these are going to go? Remember, it's the last game in the Rugby Championship this week, but these two teams will still play Bledisloe 2 at Eden Park, so it's not the last game between these two teams prior to the World Cup, so there's still that one game to go. I will probably do a live stream for this game, so that'll be a pretty fun one. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the game. How do you think the bookies odds and Rugby Forecast have got it? You also picking the All Blacks. A lot of talk about them being rusty right now, but then also Steve Hansen coming out and saying we're supposed to be rusty because we're trying things before the World Cup, so I kind of have to wait and see which one, whether it's genuine or whether it's just working on a master plan. I guess we'll wait and see. Can Cheika get things right, especially without David Pocock? It is one to watch. How's James O'Connor going to go? Lots of things to talk about. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.